So here's an important thing to think about when it comes to AI and when it comes to the modern day technological world we live in and its various items, its various, I guess you could call them vices, temptations, and whatever. Especially with respect to AI. You know, AI really makes you lazy. Imagine if all you think about, and think about this, by the way, because somebody mentioned this, I forget exactly where it was, but somebody mentioned the very fact that, and this is something that I'm doing also with respect to building my email list, is you're building your business on somebody else's platform. If you're using any of these large language models, well, insert which one you want, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, whatever, Perplexity, etc., they might be good and they might be helpful. And in fact, I have a paid for version of one of those platforms or one of those language models, large language models. But I don't build my business, I don't build my life around building something on somebody else's platform. Or that being said, I don't build anything that I'm reliant on somebody else's platform, simply because it's dangerous. What happens if all of a sudden the politicians decide that, hey, you have to verify yourself by using your passport to use AI? Then what's going to happen? Hey, you need to comply with all of these laws to use AI, or else we can persecute you and charge you with whatever bogus law and throw you in jail. Hey, you need to agree to this. Hey, you need to agree to that. Hey, there's going to be surveillance. It's sooner or later it's going to end up like modern day banking. You're going to be surveilled no matter what you do. You can't hide away from this. That's what I predict. And by the way, if you're breaking the law, but don't do that. Comply with the law, obviously, in your country or jurisdiction. That should be a given, obviously. But I'm just telling you, if you value your privacy, you should be scared about this. Because I am, in the context that I know that everything that I'm using AI for might be used against me sometime in the future. It's kind of like if you upload all of your photos on social media, or AI for that matter. Somebody's gonna, they're gonna be stored somewhere, and somebody may or may not use them to their advantage. Maybe they're gonna use them to market stuff. Maybe they're gonna abuse them and sell them to other entities and people who have malintentions. Or maybe they're just going to be stored neutrally in some server. Who knows? The point is, AI has come to stay. There's not a question about that. However, the platform on which it is built is most prone to being taken away from you before your very eyes. And it's the same thing with an email list. It's the same thing with everything, really. It's the same thing with the social media. That's why I don't really care so much about followers and likes on social media, because what happens if a social media account or if a social media company decides to shut my account down? Now I don't have anything. But if I had a list, or even a handwritten list, then it would have been so much easier. And you should think the same way. Don't think that this doesn't apply to you, by the way, because it really does. Actually, focus on building something that's your own. Build something that's unique to you. Build something that can't be taken away from you. And really what that means is using yourself, as in using the gift of the gab if you have one, your speaking skills or speaking skills, your conversational skills, your persuasion skills, your sales skills. You know where I'm going with this. That's right. The things that AI can't do. Sure enough, you're going to have AI write you a pretty sales letter or a compelling looking sales letter. Maybe the design is nice. Maybe the fonts are nice. Maybe the overall layout is so appealing. But when you read it, it's just empty fluff. Now, Oh, you could prompt better, is what the critics to that statement would say. And that's right. Maybe you could prompt better, but you could only prompt so much. Because AI can't replace what's inside here: the empathy, the human feel, the think, the psychological need. No AI can replace that. And that's why you need to work hard on developing these speaking skills. Somebody said that the other day, or somebody suggested that the other day. Excuse me, I forget who did it. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much lately, but whatever. It happens. But somebody suggested that the other day when they were asked about how it is important to learn speaking skills, storytelling, tell a compelling story, be interesting, learn to converse, because most people today do anything else but converse. All they do is scroll on their phones and they're bored, and they need some highlight reel to be spoon fed their need for instant dopamine rush, all that kind of crap. They can't think, they can't parse, they can't process information. And when there's too little really happening, they get nervous and sensitive. That's the modern day we're living in. And that's something that you need to work on. Or that's where you need to grab your foothold. Because if everybody uses AI, they're using social media, they're really losing the ability to connect with other people whilst you're working hard on actually doing that. Well, guess who's going to gain a massive market share when the whole AI thing blows off? It's kind of like, I want to say like social media, because nowadays social media is just, well, it's still there, it's always going to be there, but the usage ain't the same as it was before. Bottom line is simply, learn these human skills anew and watch what's going to happen to your life once the AI bubble has burst. If it may or may not, we shall see. If you want to learn more about sales and persuasion, then get subscribed to my email list. The link to do so is in the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this. Yes, I write the emails myself, and I will see you on the other side.